New York Times versus Sullivan is basically the case that sets the standard for when you can sue for defamation, in particular against a public figure. You would have to show actual malice. And that's a very, very high bar. I mean, that's basically why most public figures cannot sue for defamation. It's just almost impossible to show they have actual malice in their hearts and they know what they're printing is false. They just don't give a damn. And Trump is saying, I think they've met it. They've done it. If you look at CNN's reporting on me, they're there. And the second argument would be, and by the way, that's a ridiculously high bar. And New York Times versus Sullivan needs to be revisited because we should be more like England that has a lower bar to suing for defamation just because you're a public figure, can they say? But I don't think, because he's a politician, that's the thing. Like political commentary in this country gets protected like nothing else. That's like our most protected area of speech. That's what CNN is going to say it was doing.
Yeah, except, just this week, and the reason I started to think about it is Lawrence Silberman died, who was 86 and is a kind of a towering figure in the conservative movement. And he is the one who presaged Heller, Second Amendment gun rights. He is also the one who last year authored an opinion saying that it was time to take the malice requirement out of New York Times versus Sullivan. And I'm thinking, wow, he dies, and within hours, Trump is filing this lawsuit, and he's filing it in federal court, which gives him a fast track to get to the U.S. Supreme Court. It could be, I can see a world in which New York Times versus Sullivan gets challenged based on this. And then it ties also in, I think, to what Adam has been on. Adam's been on the Nicholas Sandmann and CNN bandwagon early on.
So you have private citizens and a minor, in that case, Nicholas Sandmann, so he's not a public figure, but they settled up with him. And then you have, James O'Keefe and Veritas. He was not a private citizen. He was a public figure. So there's maybe some precedent in what goes on with Project Veritas versus, let's say, CNN or the New York Times. But then it becomes, what is the definition of malice? If you say, I don't want you to get a second term as president, is that malice? I would argue that.
Well, let me show you.
Malice.
Let's give an example. And by the way, we're going to get back to Chris Cuomo because I have more to discuss on him and his newfound humility.
I'll tie it together for you as well because
we'll go back to him. Okay. But let's take a walk down the CNN lawsuit lane with President Trump, who says, for example, I'll short for him, what's with all the comparisons to Hitler? And man, he's got a point. He mentions a couple of examples in the lawsuit. We've pulled two of them. Here's SOT 22.
When we have entered the realm of coups and Hitler, we have to pause for a moment.
And SOT 23. Similar.
Trump is as destructive a person in this century as Hitler, Stalin, and Mao were in the last century. He may be responsible for many more million deaths than they were.
Wow.
Yeah, well, at least gas was $3.50 a gallon in California. So I do have a soft spot for the man now that's top $7. And so saying you're Hitlerian or Putin's puppet, that's malice. I would assume that.
I think you can make an argument, and this is, I'll get back to Cuomo. Part of the reason that I think it's malice is people think of it in the legal term, but a legal term also has, what if there's a profit motive, and the profit motive is to raise ratings and to press the gas on raising the ratings? I think that could be arguably malice.
That guy was saying, like, I'm not defending his comments, but that was opinion. It's protected opinion. It's protected opinion to say, I think Trump is a Hitler-esque figure or Obama is a Hitler-esque figure. You're allowed to say that in the United States of America. You can't get sued over that.
Well, right. But what does CNN, do they fear discovery? Because there will be a lot of smoking gun emails and texts and things of that nature.
That'll take it back to Chris Cuomo.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, because Chris Cuomo has got, I know his lawyer very well. He's exceptional. It's going to be a reveal like you wouldn't imagine. I know from being over there for decades that internally, there's a lot of people who are very upset. And when you get into discovery, that's when stuff starts coming out. That's when you get people. Traditionally, it's whistleblowers. It really isn't. It's It's people who are upset, don't like what was happening, don't feel like they were treated fairly, and they will go to the lawyers.
You're talking about the Chris Cuomo lawsuit that's ongoing against CNN for firing him, because Chris Cuomo is making an entry into our discussion through many avenues. Are you tired of feeling like someone's always watching you on the internet? Maybe the advertisers know just a little bit too much about you, or you're concerned about the privacy of your identity. Using incognito mode won't solve the problem either. IPVanish VPN is here to protect your right to privacy and to help you stay anonymous online. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet without exposing your private details to third parties like hackers, your ISP, or advertisers. When you use IPVanish, all of your data is encrypted. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is also super easy to use. All you do is tap one button and you are instantly protected. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/Megyn and use that promo code Megyn to claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.